Here's our Thursday live, and this is the Conversation from the Throne series. Today is going to be Miss Courtney, my podcast partner in crime. Anyone that's listened to past episodes, Courtney actually is in quite a bit of the episodes, actually. The only reason we haven't hooked up recently is because I was doing the conversation with the king. So, I've definitely missed Courtney, but for anyone that's been listening to the Q chat would know that she is my podcast partner in crime. We've recorded several episodes together. So I'm trying to get people a few minutes to log in, but just to give a good intro for what to expect on this particular live. This is going to be a fun one. So like I mentioned, Courtney and I, we have a great working relationship. I love recording those on the goes with her. Anyone that listens to the Q chat already knows every time me and her do it on the go, I always mention that it's like my favorite. I love doing those on the goes because you get to hear two crazy ladies and our unpopular opinions, as I like to say, and it gives a good chances to get our humor in. So Courtney, she's really awesome. She's a great speaker. Thank you. Someone just complimented the earrings, www.goqueen.com. I'm not good at pinning things, but these are on my website, and this is actually my personal shirt, which is on the website too. It's a fro from me, dog. But Courtney is an excellent speaker. She's an author. She has a great book, and she's going to be hosting a live Facebook virtual game show, actually, that's going to be airing this upcoming Saturday at 6 p.m. called Do You kNO-LA? So she's going to jump in and give some information on that. So like I said, I'm going to let people get a chance to log in, but one thing to make note of, you can catch this episode and any of the previous episodes. Just click the icon, and I'm also uploading these videos now on my new YouTube channel, so I'll have all that information. So I'm actually going to add in Courtney. So yeah, check out my website. So I'm sorry, I'm chatting with someone that's mentioned the earrings, but I have a bunch of these. So I do like shameless plugs during these videos, and I wear my own products. So obviously this is my shirt, which is available in different colors, and these are my earrings, which I personally love wearing my earrings because I love humongous earrings. But I'm about to add in Miss Courtney. So bear with me, guys, because I mention this every episode. Like, I'm still new at the whole podcast thing. I'm sorry, the whole live thingy. So Courtney, you can send me a request if you can, but let me add her in. So let me click on her and get this going. Wait. So I'm trying to add in Courtney, so just give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. I'm adding now. So she should be in 1 second. My podcast partner in crime. Hey, my podcast partner in crime.
Long time no chat.
I know. I have to give it up for the Kings, girl. So
I know. So great.
I'm happy you got the fro out because, boom. It's
right?
So see, that's what I'm saying. Me and you are always in sync. It's just like
connected.
Like all the time.
I especially love the live about mental health. Mental health with Black men, especially. I thought that was so essential and necessary. So, shout out to the King for June. They can hold it down for June.
But the queens are back,
Right, but the queens are back.
Right. So I was hyping you up, obviously, before I added you in. So also one thing I failed to mention, which I kind of gave a little throwback to our relationship when I did the throwback earlier picture when we were on the TV.
I saw that.
It was so much fun. And just the FYI too, Rona messed up me getting the copy of the tape.
Oh, no.
Rona came Rona came in before it even aired, or whatever. Well, no, it was live, but Rona came in like with a
before it had a chance to.
Yeah, so the station was closed within a week, because we were even talking about we were there because even the guy that filmed it, it was like when he was we were leaving, it was like, wait, should we shake his hand? You know,
Right. It's like we left our mark, and then there was nothing else to be said.
Right. So at least we got a chance to do that before Rona took over.
Absolutely.
But Courtney and I met in December because I did a vision empowerment brunch, and I was seeking speakers, and that's how we hooked up. And she was phenomenal. And ever since then, we've just been partners in crime. And when and when I had the little light bulb when she was talking, I'm like, I don't know how I just came up. I was like, oh, let me ask Courtney if she would like to be on the show. Like, we just have like such a good rapport, and we both share unpopular opinions.
And you know what? And it's so good to have somebody else in the unpopular boat.
Right.
You know, with me, because you can feel alone out there in the water of unpopular opinions. So, you know, and I was a little skeptical at first. I was like, okay, now if I get on her podcast, and she's like, girl, what you talking about?
But I love it.
So glad it was not
that. It's rare, but I think it's rare that we didn't share an opinion. I really can't think of, I mean, if we have it, it was like not even like a big
enough to,
right, you know. So let's just dive in. So like I mentioned that you've written a book, obviously, and you have this great show coming up. So let's start off first before we get into the show, you know, because we have people logging in, and like I said, this will be on the YouTube. So start off with your background first. Like, let's start off with that before we dive into the show and the book.
Sure. So as far as entertainment goes, I mean, we can start as far back as me being Mama Bear in my kindergarten graduation play. And that's really where I was bitten. You know, not only did I find myself in the zone when I was Mama Bear, but I also, at the end, when we did our bow and that applause, you know, washed over me, I was like, oh yeah, I want some more of that. And you know, that I definitely have been chasing that drug since then. You know, done some stage, done some filming, and I probably would say my breakout moment was when I was cast as one of the runway models in the Sepia Fashion Review. Now, some people may know what Sepia Fashion Review is, some may not, but we rivaled fashion fairs. So a lot of times either we rolled in right after them or they rolled in right after us, you know, on the same runway circuit. So that was cool. And then, you know, as life would have it, things don't take off the way you would like them to right off the bat. So I jumped into corporate America and just found myself saying, this ain't it. This ain't it. You know, and you know, after having my daughter and things like that, I decided that I would, you know, take the bull by the horns and not wait for my opportunity, but take it. And, you know, wrote the book, the steamy, hot.
And tell them, the title of the book, which always reminds me of Prince.
Is The Garden of Eden, Thieves in the Temple. And it is the first of a series. And, you know, I'm very excited about it. And, you know, I let the book kind of write itself. So it just was flowing, you know. And I was even surprised at how saucy and spicy it was. But, you know, that's just kind of what happened, you know.
Right.
And so I started off quarantine really on the book route, you know, and had, you know, more success than I even thought I would. With it, I got to meet some amazing people and be on some other broadcasts. And then I was thinking, okay, you know, the book is cool. I definitely want people to read it and I love it, but there's still that passion underneath everything for me to educate and entertain, which I call edutain. And so I went back into the closet and, you know, started brainstorming. And I'd had the Do You Know-La idea for quite some time. But I always wanted to be in studio, be on a network, you know, and, you know, sometimes the vision doesn't, you know, go quite the way you thought, But if you stretch yourself, you'll find that it's still everything you wanted. And I said, you know what? We in the house. Who's going anywhere? You know, there are a few brave souls that venture out no matter what phase we're in.
Candy's having some network connections. And I was about to mention her, which I'm going to mention her. Yeah, because we're having a good connection. But don't worry, Candy, like you'll be able to watch this. So if you're having troubles while you're watching it, don't worry. Like it'll be available as soon as this is over. You'll be able to watch it. So I'm sorry, go back.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, you know, and I decided, you know, especially after the conference we had and the message I delivered, you know, sometimes the Lord, the universe, whoever you believe in, will take you at your word. So you said that you can stretch with the vision. You said that you are, you know, agile and can move with that vision. Well, let's see. So, you know, I had to, you know, suck up that it wouldn't be on TV. Maybe one day when life returns to normal. But everybody's at home anyway. So, and everybody's on their phone. And I said, well, okay, we'll try it virtual. And it's been phenomenal.
See, that's the thing too, and several points I want to bring up from what you just mentioned. Actually, and I was mentioning to someone a episode that I recorded that's going to be released in maybe 2 or 3 weeks or so. I have particular episodes that I will go back to of the Q Chat and listen to that, you know, like I love them all. Like you know, once we're done recording, what's the first thing I say? Oh, I love that.
I love it.
But I love them all. But there's some that like obviously stand out and some that I listen to. One of them in particular is the one that you and I first did actually, which was being bold. And that was one of the things we discussed. Like, I remember to this day, one key point that you mentioned, like you even prayed it away. Like, Lord, if you know, can you take it away? Like this drive that I want, because it's so bad. But that's the whole thing. Like when you want something so bad and when you're just not one of those traditional people, you have to step out on it.
You have to.
You can't help it, you know, just like Candy's on, which I was going to mention her. Like we just did a past episode too, which was Go Glow. And I listened to that one yesterday. And Candy's big on networking. And it's just so many people are dreamers and we want, you know, like I said, I'm not a traditional person. I've never been, you know.
No.
And one thing I feel with the virus, like when it first started, just like you, just like me, just like Candy, we had other endeavors for 2020. And initially it's like, oh man, you know, we can't connect with people. What are we going to do? But then I feel like after the initial shock wore off, it was like, wait a minute, there's more we can do now because the whole virtual thing really took over. And for me personally, I know like when D Nice did that first live that everyone was on, I swear it's something, I think a light bulb went off in so many people after that. Because as you know, lives took off. And you know for a fact, like I was really like not really feeling the idea of lives.
Girl, I was poking you with the prod, like, come on.
Right, you kept poking the bear, like, you know, when can we do a live? I was like, you know, then I'm like, okay, wow, you know, lives really are a great tool. So, you know, this like with your game show, I mean, this is just a perfect time for us. So I'm like really excited about it. So let's talk about just the whole scope of it. Like tell everybody that's listening, because like I said, Candy's on. She's a networking beast in New Orleans. So
look, beast loves
tell
meat
us
on
in
the
the
beast.
background, like how did you come up with the concept? I know you said you had that vision for a while, but just the concept of the show. What are you looking for in the contestants? Because obviously me and you have talked about that. You know, what's your vision for how you hope this show takes off too? And for people because we do have some people on here that's not from New Orleans. So exactly what the whole Do You kNO-LA is about first.
Absolutely. So number one, I felt that, well, as a creative, my mind is always going. Even if I get into those slumps when I'm like, forget it. You know, I get over that and then I move on to the next thing. So when we moved to New Orleans, because I've only been back for about 2 years, I just kind of took some time to observe the city again. I hadn't been here in a while, didn't know how it had changed and things like that. And I'm happy to report that although there's been a lot of change, a lot stayed the same.
Yeah.
So I felt at home again. I was afraid I'd feel like a stranger going home. But that wasn't the case. So with that being said, you know, now coming from my eyes as, you know, someone a little bit wiser, I noticed that the New Orleans people are very loyal. Number one, if we love you, we love you. And you really gonna have to curse the gods for us not to love you. And even then, if you got a good reason, we might still roll with you. So there's that. The New Orleans people, even the people who aren't from here but end up loving New Orleans, love its culture. That's why you're here. The people, the food, the music, the traditions, the architecture, all of that. And then I noticed that a lot of people here, and really not, regardless of age, are very into homegrown, local entertainment, local artists. You know, yeah, we know about what's going on with, you know, whomever doing whatever, and we like it, but our homegrown stuff does well. And so I just thought, in markets like in Los Angeles, in Atlanta, in Chicago and New York, they have very big, that's my daughter.
That's fine.
They have very big local television markets and broadcasts. In LA, you wouldn't believe the people who started off on local television in LA. Same thing goes in Atlanta, same thing goes in Chicago. So, you know, with all that being said, the loyalty, the rich culture, the people willing to, invest in local talent, all of that came up to me in a game show called Do You Know-LA? I figured, first of all, people would be into it because it was about NOLA, so there's the culture. They would be into it because it would incorporate local businesses. You know, there's that, loyalty, local commerce. And then you get to see your friends and neighbors or somebody you went to school with, as they participate, and you get to cheer them on. And then I feel like there's been this shift away from cable for various reasons. Some people never did it. And some people are leaving it. So I feel that the local networks, people are going to go back to that for their news. After a while, you get tired of streaming. I mean, I can watch Netflix for 55 days in a row, but on the 56th, I can turn it to the local station and see what's going on. And I'd like that to be where you see Do You Know-LA? So that's kind of how it all came about. And then, so I set to work thinking about questions, and I just was cracking myself up about the questions I could ask. And so that, let me know that it would be fun and engaging. That's the motivation, I guess. That'd be fun, that'd be engaging, that'd be entertaining, and that people really leave with something. I want people to win the money, win the prizes. That will get you to those businesses, and then you'll spread word of mouth to other people. So, we'll all be helping each other, community and commerce coming together. And that's what I really want.
That's awesome. And, New Orleans is a very unique city. Okay. And I just feel like something about New Orleans, I think people are fascinated with the city. I think people are fascinated with the people. And when you're a native of the city too, just like you said, you really can't take the city out the person. So like, even when you're a native of the city, I mean, even to this day, if I see like a celebrity or something and I find out they're from New Orleans, I'm like, oh my God, oh yeah. You get this level of excitement. So I just feel like something about New Orleans, like we're very territorial. Okay, it can be centuries that you moved from the city, but like you don't really ever leave New Orleans, and we're very particular about a lot. Like New Orleans is our own, and we're very protective of people from the city. And you're right, like we are more forgiving of people from our city. Like it's something about New Orleans. It's like a huge click,
right,
it's just something that you can't stray away from. So there's a level of excitement too about New Orleans. I mean, people who aren't from the city, obviously, they get excited, they get fascinated, they want to know things. And one thing too that I'm excited about what you do in the show, because whenever I meet people that's not from the city, the first thing they think of is Bourbon Street. And I always have to tell them, there's so many different things about New Orleans
Absolutely.
other than Bourbon Street,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one thing that I just think is going to be exciting in general about the show, just for people to get, the whole point. Like, okay, like there's so many other rich things about New Orleans. It's rich in
Absolutely.
history, for one thing. So I see one
Mm-hmm.
of my good friends, which is a regular of the show. He said his father's family is from New Orleans, so his roots are deep in that
I
city.
hope from
And
the
that's the thing,
Stonewall, baby. That's where
right?
they need to be
Exact,
from.
baby. And that's the thing about New Orleans, baby. Like if your a parent is from the city, it's like you're locked into.
Right,
So
right.
that's just something about New Orleans in general. So tell people, like, as far as the contestants. So what is your, like, what type of contestants can we expect to see on the show?
Yes. Well, in this beginning part, because
Mm-hmm.
this is being born during the pandemic, I am trying to find people that have either been economically impacted by the pandemic or otherwise was a frontline worker or an essential
Mm-hmm.
worker, to give something back. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, anyone can be a contestant. We will
Mm-hmm.
hone in on people who have a little personality.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like, and I'm sure now that you're, a couple of podcasts in, there's nothing like a person who wants to be interviewed but hates
Yeah.
to be interviewed. So the
Yeah.
same goes for a contestant. You
Mm-hmm.
want someone who's going to be engaging,
Right.
and I have been studying, the game shows that have stood the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've noticed is that, however they do it, they choose people who are engaging, who are all
Right.
about game, who can
Right.
throw a little flavor, whatever those unique things are. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you got to come and be, just hilarious or somebody. No,
Mm-hmm.
but just be willing, be open, and, fun. And the great thing about it, that's usually New Orleans people.
True.
Not many New Orleans people aren't willing to sit down and tell you everything, baby, because over there they was talking
Right.
about, and sometimes you got to walk away from New Orleans, like, I got to go.
Right.
So, I felt it wasn't a stretch to